Welcome everybody back to the stream, back to Space Engineers. And this week there might be only one episode of Space Engineers because I wanted to play a bit more VR games. I actually, on VR Sunday, I played a really cool game that I want to continue this week. So there was only going to be this stream for today, this week, maybe for next week as well. We'll see. However, today we'll focus on the next room that we're gonna design. And the next room that we're gonna design is, well, let me preface that with something else. Basically, I've been looking for some ideas, you know, and I've been snooping around some forums online, you know, just to get ideas, what people put in their spaceships, not just in Space Engineers in general, you know, what kind of rooms do people put in ships in general, you know, in general sci-fi. And I found a pretty interesting list. We have lots of different ideas, and actually I found several lists, and one word that was almost on all the lists was astrometrics, I think it's called. Which, if my limited understanding is correct, that means basically space navigation. You know, kind of like celestial navigation planning for the spaceship, and that many people have kind of listed this as an own room next to the bridge. And I was thinking, does that make sense? And I feel it kind of does, you know, because the bridge is basically the commander, the cockpit, you know, so to speak, right? Just, it's a bad, maybe not the best comparison, but imagine a plane. You know, the bridge is the cockpit. The pilots are there. They're technically steering the ship. They're, you know, they sit there, and if something happens, they take the wheel, they dodge out of the way, whatever. And also they kind of, you know, they know the course, they set the autopilot, but where they're exactly flying is probably not planned in the cockpit. That's planned somewhere else, you know? And so I think astrometrics would be the room where the celestial course is plotted, and then it's relayed to the bridge, and from there it's just punched in the computer, something like that. That's what I imagine. And I kind of was thinking maybe mission control is kind of overlapping in functionality, but not really, because mission control is more like a military planning room, so that has nothing to do with star navigation. So I think that makes sense as a room concept, you know? And I also have kind of an idea how it could look. I just have to check if that's possible to do, what I imagine. You know, basically, I want to have several console blocks and then having them project something. But I don't know how well it can be done, you know? Something like, I imagine having like a construct out of like several of these projectile blocks with different blueprints behind them, and then with offset you can maybe put them together in a way that it kind of looks like a star system map, you know, with like planets and stuff. I don't know if we'd be able to actually make this happen, you know, from a visual standpoint, but that's what I would assume a room like this would look, you know, like a big map where you can, you know, with touch screens you can turn the map and then just plot a course, stuff like that, and you probably will get, you know, some important information to like meteor showers and black holes and other celestial activities that could disturb the journey. So that's what I imagine. Now, first and foremost, what we need to do right now is to kind of make sure that we put the walls in a way that we can replicate this room here. So that is 1, 2, 3, 7 in width, this room here that will replicate over here. So we'll have to put that down immediately, otherwise we will kind of forget probably. Also, I think think the hallway needs to be 1, 2, 3. Yeah, indeed. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So here will be then the entrance to the lounge that is going to be mirrored to this side. Then we have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Well, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Like that. And then the wall to this room is going to be right here. If I see this correctly. Right? Something along those lines. And then we're just gonna draw this out. And then we kind of have the necessary parameters to build the room. It's kind of big, the room that we're gonna do this in. But, yeah, again, this diagonal wall means we have to kind of split the room up a little bit. Okay, let me put down some floor plates, however we want to call those. And then we'll start dividing the room into... we probably need several smaller rooms. But I think this room, Astrometrics, could probably contain something like a server room again. So there's a bit of space we can dedicate to that. If we have some little space left and nothing else to do with it, we could make a server room. Because I can imagine, you know, planning a space navigational route with like real-time data, for example. That would probably need a lot of power, you know, like CPU power. So you probably will have like huge server farms where you could, where all these important navigational programs would run on. So I could imagine a room like this to have a lot of these computers. We'll see. So let me put down all of these floor plates. But yeah, we have a lot of room to work with, so we can be very generous for the most part. With I think we'll have like a 3x3 console block middle console, so to speak. If that makes sense. All right, let's start welding. Oh yeah, and also I reinstalled Empyrean Galactic Survival, which I always thought of that game as the, not the rival of Space Engineers, but like the brother of Space Engineers, because it has a different focus, in my opinion. And I just restarted it, and my god, that game has a lot of stuff in it now as well. It's really cool to see, you know. Also, I have to say, when it comes to tutorials, I would almost say they have a little bit of a better tutorial, because it's kind of like woven into the storyline. But that's the problem, because Empyrean is a bit more story-based, even if it's a loose story. It is more story-based than Space Engineers. If you want story in Space Engineers, you have to start like one of these dedicated scenarios. You cannot just go into a game and have a story. That doesn't work. In Empyrean, you at least, you know, you have some story. You crash in a survival pod. You need to get basic stuff set up, and then you have different. Even the tutorial has like a little story to it, and there's a lot of things to discover. And the world is, you know, you land on a planet in Empyrean, and the world is just alive. That's the best thing about this game, seriously. You walk over like grass plains, and you see the dinosaurs, spiders, you see different kinds of plants that you can harvest. That is what that game really does well. But generally, I have been taking a look at a few other games recently that I haven't played in a while. Another one is Conan Exiles. Also kind of a survival sandboxy game, of course, set a little bit further back in time. And that has changed too. I haven't bought the DLCs to that game yet. You know, there's like a DLC for horses, I think, like mounts and stuff. And another one I've seen for different equipment. But my god, that game has gone way better as well. I remember back in the day, that was a really confusing game to me. Because also in that game, the tutorial was not as good as it could be. And that's like a problem with a lot of these open world, sandboxy survival games, that the tutorials always seem to come last in these games. Even though these games are like knowing what you're doing in games like these is paramount. It's the most important aspect. You need to know what you're doing. Therefore, it's kind of ironic that the tutorials are mostly on the back burner in these kind of games. But, you know. But yeah, I've been discovering a lot of games recently. Again. Some I've bought new, some I've been rediscovering. I always go to phases like these where I just flick through my Steam library, if that makes any sense, flicking through a digital library, but yeah. And I'm looking at games and I'm like, you know what? I'll try that again. Maybe it's good now. And yeah, it's a good, interesting thing to do every once in a while. Even you know, sometimes I have the urge to buy a new game. I really do. I'm like, everything has been a bit stale lately. I need something new. And then I get the impulse to buy a game, even though I don't really like the game that I'm looking at. You know, it's a weird game. I'm not even sure I'm gonna play it, but I want something new. And then it's better to actually go through your library and see things like I don't know, Deep Simulator I've played, and they came up with like new chapters for that game, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, we can play that again. And there's a lot of content in that for free, you know. You don't need to buy some random game that you're not really sure is good. But yeah, also Vermintide 2 I've been playing a lot lately. I know I'm a bit late on that one, but still. Vermintide is a great game. I love the first one. The second one is a lot better though, I have to say. Especially because now Chaos is in it as well, because I played a lot of Warhammer Fantasy back in the day, and Chaos was my main army, and therefore I just love the aesthetics of Chaos so much. So yeah, great game for me. Deep Rock Galactic is fantastic, I'm playing that right now as well. Really great game. But you know, I'm always coming back to Space Engineers, of course. Because Space Engineers is just... It's just a gift that keeps on giving. You have to kind of force yourself to do things, you know, you have to set your own goals. But, you know, that's with all sandbox games, right? Sandbox survival games. You have to kind of, you know, make your own challenges sometimes, because that's what these games are about, you know, living your own kind of thing. It's like playing with Lego. If you're just building with the manuals, you're done in like 10 minutes, and then what you're gonna do? You have to create things yourself, you know? Alright, so at least the frame is kind of complete, so only the floor, and then we can start to design how this thing is even gonna look like. I think we should have enough room for a 3x3 console block middle console, so to speak. And I'm still trying to figure out how I would kind of simulate a galaxy map. Would be kind of weird, probably. I don't know if you can have holograms of planets. That would be the best thing. I know you can get holograms of your blueprints on the console block, but if you could get holograms of different planets, that would be amazing. Then you could basically put together many of these console blocks, and then with offset, just put the planets in certain directions and certain positions to kind of simulate a map. That would be kind of cool, but I'm not sure that works. I guess we could kind of simulate that with blueprints, you know, make it like a little ball blueprint, and then just have several of these in different sizes and different scales. But yeah, they're not going to be perfectly round, so I'm not quite sure how good that's going to look. Oh wait, isn't there a... There is a space ball. Can we get a space ball as a blueprint? That sounds weird, but if that would be possible, to make a blueprint out of a space ball and then just add this as a planet into the console block, as a, you know, projection-wise, that would be kind of interesting, actually, if that works. Huh. I Yeah, we have to. I have to try that in creative if we can blueprint a space ball. Because then that would work perfectly, I feel. And you just change the scale of the projection and the offset, and you have yourself, like... We could kind of try to emulate our actual solar system here, because we have... What do we have there? I think that's a planet and a moon. Then we have planet and moon, and then there's another planet. Wait. Yeah, somewhere is another planet too. So we could kind of try to replicate our actual solar system here with the console block. That would be kind of nice, actually. Would be even nicer if it would kind of rotate with the ship's rotation, but Jesus Christ. Not even sure if we could do that, honestly. But yeah, I think that would be a nice idea. To get a space ball as a blueprint and then just put it into the console block.
Energy critical.
Ah, critical energy, of course. Yoink. But we're getting along. We're getting along quite nicely, I have to say. So after this, there is the observation deck, and then there's 2 more rooms, and then our main deck is complete. Now, I've a few more ideas for the other 2 rooms. For example, a hollow deck would be kind of interesting. That was something on the list of rooms that people put on spaceships I've seen. There's like a whole bunch of stuff, like embassy and brothel, but yeah, that's probably not something that is on the main deck, to be honest. But you know, there's a lot of I've got some inspiration, so I think I will figure it out. But still, you have to kind of think about it. Something that makes sense. How would you build a brothel in Space Engineers? I mean, now with the siren and stuff, you could probably make a pretty cool looking one, I have to say.
No energy.
Ah, gee, I forgot about my energy. Yeah. No. Don't die. Where is it? Oh god, where is it? There it is. Ah! Gee. Alright. Always get to tank energy. Supposedly I should probably make some battery packs and just stuff them into my backpack just to avoid having to tank energy every 5 minutes, but still. Then I would take away space for inventory space, and that's not good as well, I guess. Eh. What can you do, huh? What can you do? But yeah, I think we have a lot of space in here. I think that 3x3 console is a good idea. Then we'll put some desks around it, I would say. You know, like here in the middle, I think this is the biggest part of where we could make the room. Like here, like a square room here. We'll probably fill this up with blocks, and then we have a big square room. Put the console blocks there, and then this little section, as I said at the beginning, I think we could just fill those with programmable blocks and then call them servers, you know, kind of like computers that are needed for celestial navigation. In a role-playing sense, of course. Most stuff on my ship is actually purely for decoration and role-playing, but yeah. There you go. I mean, otherwise I wouldn't build a ship like that. Why would you build a ship like that in an actual survival situation? What I'm doing is very impractical and way too big and way too easy to shoot down, I would imagine. Just from the form, it's probably just so impractical, but hey. I never said I would do something practical. But yeah, I just didn't want to end up with another log ship or a pillar or penis ship. Is there a mod to charge the suit wirelessly? I don't actually know. There might be. It would be a good mod to do that. It's actually a clever idea. To have a mod for that. You know, just like a block that basically like projects like a gravity field, but it's actually an energy field. That would be a good idea. Huh. Modders, get onto that. I don't know if that is even possible. You know, from a programming sense. I haven't really dabbled too much in modding, I have to say. But I've looked into some of the block definitions every once in a while. And I'm not sure that that could be pulled off. But yeah, would be a good idea, definitely. Definitely a good idea. Alright, one more trip and we'll take some interior plates with us so we can place our... oh, shit. Bounce. Console block. We want to place some of those. I think we need interior plates for those, right? Yes, we do. Okie dokie. So let's get some interior plates. There we go. So we can at least make the the layout of the room. We can already make that. There we go. Right. So we need... I think we would make the room like completely even. No, not even. Symmetrical. That's what I wanted to say. So if we fill these in, what do we have here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, okay, that's way bigger. So we might actually have to fill in that. And then, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I think that might now work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect, okay. So this will be our main navigational room. And that means... Actually, wait. Have I made a mistake now? Yeah, I cannot count. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I am bad at counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, actually, it's 8 by 8. The survival kit is charging and filling wirelessly? The survival kit? Are you sure? I mean, you don't mean the thing down there, do you? You don't mean this thingy here, right? Well, it's kind of wirelessly. I'm remote, yes, like in this sense. Or what do you mean with that? I still have to be really close and click on it. That's not what you mean, right? I'm not quite sure how I'm supposed to do this. Do we want to make this a bit shorter? Like so? So it's 7 on 7. That's an odd number, which is better in design. Yeah, I think we'll make it 7 on 7. It's kind of a waste of space here. Unless we make another room over here, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. And then that means that here, that will be the middle LCD screen. And then we'll have all of these around here, like so. Then desks around it. Either desks or we'll put maybe even some blocks around it just to hide the LCD screens a bit. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, something like that. And then, if that is possible, blueprint the space ball and then just have some of these project that as a blueprint in different offsets, and then we'll have a nice little map right here. And then we'll have one room over here. Let's just make this a little bit square at least. How much do we want? Like this? And then fill these up with blocks. Yeah, a room like that. Do we want to have a room like over here as well? How big would that room be? We could probably, yeah, we could probably make a 3 by 3. Something like that. So a little bit less room wasted. We could make this an office and this the server room, or the other way around. Both, I think, would work. Yeah, I think we'll make this one the office, because all the other offices on the other rooms are about this dimension. And then we'll just put like programmable blocks in here as a like a server farm, you know, because they really look like servers, don't they? Maybe that was the inspiration for that block. I don't even know, but to me they look like big bulky servers that you would find in a server room. Obviously, where else would you find servers? That's their natural habitat. Like, all right, how many do we put down here? Do we just put a row, or could probably make like 2 rows just like that, and then some lighting. Yeah, that's fine. So that will be server room-ish, and that over there will be the office. I'm not quite sure whose office. Is it like the navigator's office? Who is in charge of this room? You know, in the other room we had the commander's office, we had the head scientist. So how do we call this guy in here? Who is in charge of this room? Is it the Master Navigator? No, that sounds very camp, actually. Master Navigator. Chief Navigator? That might be a good title, right? The Chief Navigator. I think that's what we're gonna call him. For now. If somebody else has a better idea, you can speak right now. Or be silent forever. No, wait. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call him that. Unless somebody else has a better idea. But yeah. So let's set up these walls. Like so. Then we have 2 nice square rooms. Oh, gee. Yeah, that's not... No. I know we'll not be able to see that block once we're finished, but it will piss me off if I know that there's a block that's not right. Okay. So, what else do we need? We need desks, I believe. Desks is probably the best thing to put around the console blocks, for the most part. So, desks we'll need. In the office, we might want to have some couches and some plants. Do we need anything else? We need doors, obviously, but they'll come last. I mean, what else? I'm not quite sure what else we need. Some lights. We'll obviously need that, but yeah, okay. All of that, of course, needs interior plates. As always, everything needs interior plates. And a freaking ton of it. So let's get interior plates and construction components. There we go. Let's smack some of those down. Right, so we want to have some seats around here. Do we want to have like all seats? Like 3 per side? Don't even know if there's if you need that many people to navigate, but you know. Well, in the Warhammer universe, you kind of do, right? There's like in the Warhammer universe, how they navigate ships in space. I think it's the navigators are like psychers, I think. So they're like telepathic individuals, and they basically get used as a telepathic beacon. It's like a really crazy thing. I read a bit of 40k lore, and it's absolute insanity. I do love that universe to death. It's so good, but my god, sometimes it's really over the top. All right, so we have desk here. We'll make his desk a little bit huger by making it big like that. Then on the other side we won't have a chair. That's okay. Like so, and then we'll have some couches. Yeah, probably don't even need plants. That's fine. We'll just have some couches here and there. That's fine. Do we need? There's a little bit like emptiness in the edges of that room. I don't know if I like that, to be honest. But we'll see. Let's just start welding this stuff. Right. But yeah, it's gonna be very, very empty around the edges. It really will. So we have to kind of think if we want to put something else on there, or I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. Alright, let's get 200 of those. Tank up some power. Here we go. Ouch! That was good. Right in the head. Okay, let me see. Also, I need to kind of check how long I'm gonna stream today. Probably like another 20 minutes or so. And then tomorrow I'm actually gonna have my last work day of the year. Jesus Christ, I'm looking forward to that. I need some holidays, I definitely do. Definitely need the holidays. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow evening where I'm finally free. It's a bad thing to say. It's not like I don't like my job, but still. It's nice to get some weeks off. Looking forward to Christmas. I have to kind of check how I'm gonna do it with streaming and recording videos, but still, you know. You know, it's not like, oh, I'm on holiday, I'm not gonna play games. This is not a job, so therefore I probably still will be able to play games, but just not sure I'm always, you know, at my home computer where I can actually record stuff. Right. Yeah, empty inventory. Okay. Let's just get a bunch more of that. Oh boy. Can we actually make blueprints? I know we can make it in survival. We can make blueprints easily, but I'm not quite sure in no, not in survival. In creative, I mean, we can do blueprints there. I'm not quite sure if we can do it just in survival here. I've actually never done that. I always mess around in creative, blueprint the thing, and then put it into my survival world. I always done it that way around. I'm not quite sure if we could just put something in here and then blueprint it. Right, we need even more interior plates. What else do we need? We need computers and displays too. And then, yeah, a bunch of more stuff. We'll get to that in a second here. Computers and displays. Where are the computers? No, that's not computers. Computers, displays, wonderful. Everything we need. Okay, let's bring these things online here. Well, almost. You know what I was thinking that right now? Because we only need the projection from the console blocks, right? We only need the projection. We don't necessarily need to see the surface. But I was just thinking now, if we put glass on top of these display, on top of these console blocks, would that look kind of interesting? You know, because we would kind of hide all the buttons and stuff like that. I wonder if that would look kind of interesting, because it would look a bit more like a uniform surface than it does right now. Well, might actually be an interesting thought. Let me get some girders and some glass. I might want to test that, actually. And I'm pretty sure the projection will just go through the glass, right? So we can kind of hide this away. Because that's what is kind of most irritating about this right now, is that, you know, all these displays here, they kind of look weird. So I wonder if we just... Hold on. Let me get the window. Where do we have the 1x1? Flat. There we go. Can we even put that on? Oh, yeah, right. Okay. I see. So it takes... That's interesting. So oh, yeah, obviously. I kind of thought I could just put something on there, but yeah. No, obviously, you can't. Why was I... Maybe it was because I was playing too much Empyrean lately. Because there you have a lot more, like, different block selections. Although you can still just put one type of block in a grid. But yeah, that is something that has really blown me away with Empyreans. The amount of shapes that you have for basic blocks is insane. There's so many different shapes in that game. It just allows you to be so precise in how you want to make your building or your aircraft look. It allows you to be really, really precise. But you have to obviously plan ahead quite well, because, again, you only have one block per grid. So it's gonna be quite good at planning if you want to have something that looks nice. Alright, we need 4 motors and 8 large tubes. And we shall get those. Let's see. Do we have... Yes, I think we do. 8 of those bad boys. And 4 of you. And then we'll just take with us
Energy low.
a bit more material so we can start making the ceiling afterwards. I think I will just leave this room as it is right now, and then we'll decide later if we want to put something in the corners here, because it looks kind of empty right now. We might just want to... We could kind of smooth out the room a little bit by making the corners, you know, with these slopes. That would smooth out the room a little bit and make it not look that empty, I guess. So that would be a plan if everything fails, I guess. Okay. There are our servers, quote unquote. Very nice. Good. You know what? I'm actually... Let's just put these in the corner for now. I think that's gonna make the room a little bit more filled. Rounds it off quite nicely, actually. Yeah, I think that works. I mean, we can still have some stuff on these walls. We could put, like, LCD screens on, but I think that is already pretty good. Right. Good. Let me plan the vents and the ceilings, obviously. There's going to be 3 vents in this room setup. Although, do we need a vent in the server room? Yeah, I guess we do. I mean, it's a big enough room, so we'll put one in anyway. Right, so one of the vents will be right here in the middle, and we'll also again put the corner lights around it.
Critical.
Like so, yeah, that's gonna be good. Then obviously here we'll have to put the corner pieces in again. Or we could just put the inverted corner, that might look cool as well. And then finish the room off with... Yeah, you know what? That is actually... I think we're gonna do that, because that will make the look the room even more rounded. It basically funnels all from an architectural standpoint. It funnels like all the lines in the middle of the room where this is, which is kind of what this is about. You know, the room is about the table in the middle. So I think designing it like that will basically draw everything to the middle. I'm no architect, I'm just talking bollocks, but yeah. In my mind, that works this way. Right, let's get... Oh, yeah, energy low. Energy low. Whoop, 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 whoop. Where is our... There it is. Whew!
Energy critical.
Just in time. Oh boy. Okay, let me continue for another, 10 minutes or so. And then I'm gonna be off for today. Ah, boy. Alright. So, let me just grab steel plates. We don't need anything else right now. There we go. So, let me just weld these for now. Yeah, but I think that's a good idea to have slopes everywhere. That will make this room look really crisp, I think. Yeah, we'll already need new material. Seriously, I need to kind of calculate at the end of this whole project how much steel plates have we used up. I really would be interested in that. I mean, unfortunately, if I've seen this correctly, if you blueprint something, it tells you how many blocks there are in a blueprint. But I think it does not differentiate between the different armor blocks. Unfortunately. It just says armor blocks. I don't think it matters if that is a slope or a corner. Well, we can kind of at least get the average, you know, by taking just the normal armor block as a base. We can kind of get an average of steel plates, but it's not going to be accurate, of course. But yeah, I think this looks pretty good from a room design, I would say, right? Also, it takes off a little bit less. Oh, let's get that light on. A little bit less steel plates like that with the slopes. There we go. Let's take a look from the ground level. Yeah, I can kind of see that, you know? Now, if the... Seriously, after the stream is over, I will try to blueprint one of these space balls and then check if that actually works, because that would be pretty amazing to make a map out of. That would be pretty cool if that works. We'll see. Because I think you should be able to. It is a block, after all, and every block should be able to be saved as a blueprint, even if it's just one block. At least I believe. Never done that before, so we'll see. You know, but that is what Space Engineers is about. Being creative with the tools you've been given, right? And that's always been the strength of the community, I feel. Using the blocks that Keen puts in the game in a creative sort of way. Be it back in the day when gravity engines, you know, were discovered, gravity cannons and stuff like that. That just showcases that, well, the community knows how to use different blocks, and it's always going to be creative. And it also showcases that doesn't matter what you put in the game, it will be turned into a weapon eventually. And yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. I mean, every game teaches a lesson like that, I believe. I mean, if you take a look at a game like Spore, you know, that lesson that game taught is if you give a community free hand over creating something, it will always come up with a penis shape first. I mean, that's also true about the Space Engineers community, I guess, but, you know. What can I say? I still love this game to death. And all the people playing it, you know, putting blueprints in the workshop and mods, and it's just amazing what people come up with on a regular basis in this game. And that people are still interested in playing it, you know? There's a lot of games like that are kind of like that have died years ago, you know? Just because people just lost interest, you know, the development was not as fast as people hoped. But here people have really stuck around, and they've stuck with Keen, and, you know, they're really... No, it was... Sometimes it looked like it's not gonna be good. It's not looking good. It's not gonna go anywhere, but people have not given up hope, and that's kind of nice, you know? But yeah, sometimes it is kind of hard. I understand that as well with these early access games, you know. Sometimes you just don't see the progress, and that's really disheartening. You know, if you get a concept that is so good and you know it's good, but it's just not going any way forward, that is so frustrating, and I can understand that. There we go. I mean, generally, sometimes it's really frustrating if people if games are made with a concept that you like and it turns out to be an absolute failure. You know, the thing is, for example, I really, as I said before many times, I love the Warhammer franchise to death. But I think there's so much more in that franchise than the games that we're getting, especially 40k. I think, you know, the fantasy franchise is actually not badly represented with the Total War series. They've made pretty much games that are quintessential of what Warhammer Fantasy is about. You know, huge battles with lines and lines of soldiers just smashing into each other. But with 40k, I'm not quite sure. I mean, there was the Battlefield Gothica. What was it called? The spaceship war game. That was pretty good. That captured a vital essence of the 40k universe. But I don't know. There's so many things that could be explored, you know?
Energy critical.
I mean, the dream, of course, would be kind of like an MMO, but the problem with MMOs is always they're probably gonna be a bit shit. The problem is with MMOs that you have to then bend the concept of the of the world that you're taking and then bend it around the MMO part, and that can end up with very, very ugly constructs, really, you know. But yeah, I mean, I still dearly remember the Warhammer Online Age of Reckoning, the Warhammer Fantasy MMO. That was really great. Not quite balanced, which was a big problem, but it was a pretty awesome game from a style point of view, you know? I just loved it being able to run around as a slayer, you know, a dwarven slayer or a black orc boss or something like that. That was just so amazing. I didn't even care if the class that I played was really underpowered. It was just fun. It was just fun seeing like 50 Chaos Warriors slamming into a line of High Elves, just slaughtering each other. That was just fun times. I wonder what is up. I think that game shut down like a long time ago, didn't it? I mean, I cannot even remember. That was maybe 10 years ago? I have no idea, actually. That was a really long time ago. I have fond memories of that. Ah, well. Okay, so we have these vents are online. Well, the vent holes, that is. Those are done. We just weld these little walls here. There we go. Oh, I think I placed the block wrong in there. Hold on. Something looks weird. Yeah, okay. That doesn't belong there at all. Right, and then the server room, of course, also needs a vent access. There we go. It's something I say a lot. Whenever I watch my videos, I often catch something that I say a lot. And with space engineers, it's the phrase, "there we go." For some reason, I don't know why. Sometimes there's like periods where I say a certain phrase a lot because I've been watching a video and somebody said that phrase and I kind of like it, so I use it a lot. I don't know, maybe that is because I'm not a native speaker, so I watch a lot of like English television programs on YouTube, however, so yeah, I do get like some English channels here, but most of the time I don't watch them on TV because I kind of like to dictate my own time what I watch, so YouTube is better for that. But I watch a lot of these like English panel shows, and depending on what I've been watching, you know, if I've been watching like a show with a certain like comedian in it or something, and they use a certain turn of phrase, and I really like that, then I will start incorporating it like excessively into my own speech pattern. And I think that only happens if you're probably not a native speaker, right? Because if you're native, you have your own speech pattern from childhood, I would imagine. And you don't get influenced by that very easily. But for me, since I do not have an inherent pattern of speech when it comes to that language, I guess if I see something and my brain tells me, hey, yeah, that is good, I automatically start to pick it up. Until that moment that I realize that I'm doing it, and then my brain says something like, oh no, that is terrible, we should never use that turn of phrase again. So I'm going from one extreme into the next, I guess. But yeah, I've seen that happen to me a lot. But what can I say? I just love to watch like English panel shows and stuff like that. I really love that stuff. You know, like, I don't know, like Motto Week, Would I Lie to You, stuff like that. It's just, I absolutely love that stuff to death. Where do we put the vent? It's not symmetrical, so it's gonna bother me anyway, but do we put it at the front or the back? Back. Alright. That's decided. It annoys me already, but still. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna finish the roof and then I'm gonna be done for today. Well, as I said, after the stream goes offline, I'm gonna just check it out in creative if I can do the blueprinting in the way that I want, and if it's gonna look the way that I want it to. Because that would be so nice to make like a nice map of our solar system. It would be really cool. Well, if it doesn't work in the way I want it, I will find some way to get around that. Wait, didn't I just... Do I develop... Am I getting old? Did I not just pick up like a bunch of steel plates? Jesus Christ. Sometimes I really have that feeling that I'm getting way too old for this. And I shouldn't be saying that at my age. I know that very well, but Jesus Christ. You know, every once in a while I have these days where I'm like really forgetful. I walk into a room and then I'm standing there scratching my head and I'm like, why the hell did I go in here? That's scary. You know, that's the thing that scares me most about getting old. You know, it's not like that my body is starting to, you know, decompose, if that is the right word to use, but it's not that. It's not that I know, oh, my health is gonna be a little bit worse than before. It's not that. It's that I'm becoming like really forgetful. That is the most annoying thing, because it costs me then extra time to, you know, basically make up for my forgetfulness. Hey, Courier, what's up? Oh boy. But yeah, that's really annoying thing. It is really, really annoying. So that's why whenever I have something that I desperately need to do, I always have to punch it into my phone's calendar with like 3 reminders built in. So I definitely gonna do it. Because I know myself, if I don't set reminders, I would probably just, the whole day I probably just do whatever I want and forget everything else. That's the problem. Alright, I think we're finished with today's workload. Right now. There we go. So next time, which will be next week, I think this week I'm gonna, instead of Space Engineer's normal episode, I'm just gonna do that VR game, what was it called? Boiling Steel, I think. I'm gonna play tomorrow, or on Friday, that is, for you. So, yeah, next week we're gonna probably finish up all of that. Meaning the office. Oh, we haven't welded these yet. Oh well. We're gonna create our map. We're gonna put in the vents. And then, once there is more time, we're gonna start replicating the lounge that we have over here. We're gonna start replicating that over here. So this must be a perfect replica, like picture perfect. And then there's 2 more rooms here, and then the main deck is complete. Which is a huge step, because I think everything else is actually gonna be shorter than this. The upper decks are gonna have less space, and the lower decks as well. And down here, these are not going to be very spacious as well, so I think we got a big part of the work already done, which is nice. Alright, so thank you everybody for watching. Doesn't matter if it was live or if you watch this later on YouTube, thank you very much. It's really appreciated, and let me actually check something before I say something wrong. Oh no, next... Yeah, when I stream next, it would have been Christmas already by then, so I'm already gonna wish you, everybody, a good Christmas, Not happy holidays yet, because that's going to be after that. So, until next time, take care.